The Good Party has reiterated its call for the City of Cape Town to engage with industry experts, academics, medical doctors and marine conservationists. This over testing protocols at the Metro's beaches. Last month, the party wrote to Mayor Jordan Hill-Lewis requesting an urgent joint committee meeting of the following portfolios: water and sanitation, community services and health, planning and environment. This was after a citizen-driven investigation found the presence of sewage pollution on some Cape Town beaches during November and December of last year. Good Party's Suzette Little joins me live. Suzette, appreciate your time. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Now, what led to the Good Party taking a stand on this issue, and what do you see as the key risks posed by the E. coli contamination on Cape Town's beaches?
Hugo, thank you so much for having me this afternoon. What is of great concern to ourselves as politicians within the City of Cape Town? We are looking at experts to assist us in running the city, having a public participation. So when you have a report which by academics, these are academics at renowned and well-known and established universities, Stellenbosch and UWC. And these are not academics that would carelessly publish data with regards to the pollution that's on our beaches. And so what has happened was the report that we've now found these high levels of E. coli within our waters. This has been of concern to us because this is supposed to be our blue flag beaches. These are the places people go and swim. But these are not the only places that's been contaminated. And it's not the only time that we've been speaking about our waterways that's been contaminated. But now we also have people that has gotten ill. We have another water catchment area where people have also gotten ill. And what is extremely frustrating is that the leadership, the mayor, the executive mayor of the City of Cape Town, instead of engaging with these academics, which would have been the very matured and responsible things to do, to actually find out how did they get to this point, what are their findings, sit down with these academics and start discussing their findings. As a politician that represents the residents of the city, it is important that the public knows that we sit down with residents of the city and debate what they have found. We have not yet done this.
Now, Suzette, experts like Dr. Joe Barnes and Dr. Anthony Turton have criticised the city's testing protocols. From your perspective, what specific changes needed to be made to ensure that the water quality testing is actually effective?
We first of all need to get our levels, our effluent standards of discharge. We've got to bring that back. We have seen that the minister, Dion George, he suspended those levels. We must have certain standards. We must be able to test and have a certain level of what is discharged into our waterways. What we are expecting to see is that the academics join our committees and have that engagement. We cannot sit with water sanitation plants just pumping aimlessly, pumping into our waterways and contaminating these waterways. On the Cape Flats, it's a stench that covers the entire Cape Flats of the amount of sewer that is pumped into our waterways that eventually ends up in the ocean. These are things that's going to affect our tourism eventually. What is the mayor going to be doing when people start getting sick, tourists that start getting sick, that's actually coming into our city? Has he asked that question instead of just refuting? The mayor is not an academic in terms of water quality. He needs to take the hand of those academics. He needs to take the hands of people and bring them into the city so that we can have this discussion, so that we can get a recommendation from our academics, from our universities, from these organizations as the way forward. I'd love to see that we regulate the amount of sewer and the way that we purify our water into our waterways. That's what we'd like to see. We'd also like to see, as the Good Party, that the mayor acts responsibly, bring the academics to the committees and have that mature discussion to find a way forward so that we can resolve this issue. It contributes to climate change. It messes up our environment. What more must happen before the city of Cape Town is actually going to realize that we are in dire straits.
Now, the city has denied any evidence linking the Stormers players' E. coli infection to Camps Bay. And that speaks, I suppose, to one of the issues that you talked about tourists coming in and obviously being impacted by E. coli. Now, do you believe the city is being dismissive? And how should they be handling cases like this differently?
Hugo, I think they are dismissive. None of the politicians that are currently running the city are scientists. They are not the academics. They are people that are supposed to be acting responsible. That when your academia speaks, people that are reputable gives you advice. It is for you as the politician to take the advice and find a way to resolve the problem. Now we can hide it, we can pretend it doesn't exist, we can carry on with the narrative of we are a well-run city. But while we have academics that is saying that we've got a problem and the leadership refuses, that is irresponsible. You should not, as a politician, assume you know it all. We don't. We don't. That is why we have the academics. That is why we have people that are specialists in these fields. The mayor is correct. At this point in time, it's a report in the media. But that does not make it untrue. It means that we haven't tested that yet. I am aware of the fact that even in the Maitland Lagoon, for years, we've had that stench. It still hasn't been resolved. Another body of water that is being ignored. Your catchment areas, your rivers, the Black River, it's a cesspool, it's a dump, but it's ignored. So what is it going to take for the mayor to take the hands of the academics within the city and to bring them to the table to have the discussion? That's what we want. That's what we're insisting on. We're not wanting to play a political game. We want to find a solution to the problem that we have. A sieve of 20 millimeters or 3 millimeters cannot be the only way we purify our water before we actually pump it into the ocean. That's irresponsible.
Suzette, finally, you've asked a question, and I suppose rhetorically, what is it going to take for the mayor to bring in the experts and the scientists? And I'll ask you the same question. What is it going to take?
I'm hoping that he will listen today and hear me, ask him, begging him, could he please bring the people to the table so that we can have a discussion? Because eventually, if we're not going to listen, it's going to affect our tourism. And that is what we must avoid at all costs. Not only the tourists, but the residents of the city. Most of our communities go to the oceans. Most of those places that they go to is now at risk. What does the mayor want must happen? He needs to answer and tell us. We've written to the mayor. The letter that I got back from the mayor's office says that he is waiting for the committees to give him an answer. Now, how does an executive mayor of the city of Cape Town wait for a committee to give him an answer? So it's that type of, just blatantly trying to push you to the side that is extremely frustrating. And while he's busy doing that, the sewer is pumped into the ocean. So I'm hoping that he will hear us today and actually understand that my concern is every single resident that goes into our ocean. Are we at risk? Can he give us that assurance that we are not at risk? Because he has most certainly not spoken to the academics. He's not spoken to those universities where these findings have come from. I would like him to do that. I would love to hear what the professors have got to say. Love to hear what Dr. Barnes and Professor Patrick has got to say, so that we can be assured that our places are safe. And that is what I'm asking the mayor to do. Stop pushing me aside. Stop pushing the citizens of Cape Town aside and actually do what you're supposed to do as a responsible politician.
Suzette Little, Good Party Caucus Chair, thank you so much for speaking to us. She's walking us through those issues around the presence of E. coli in some of Cape Town's beaches and urging the Mayor, Jordan Hall-Lewis, to address the issue by engaging scientists and those that are proficient in dealing with the issue. Well,